Migration crises in Europe. The migration crises in Europe represent one of the most serious humanitarian and political challenges of the modern era. It refers to the large-scale movement of people from the Middle East, Africa, and parts of Asia toward European countries. Many of these individuals fled war, persecution, poverty, or environmental hardship, hoping to find safety and opportunity in Europe. The crisis reached its height in 2015 when millions of migrants and refugees crossed the Mediterranean Sea, causing emotional, political, and logistical strain across the continent. Understanding this crisis means examining its causes, consequences, and the complex reactions it produced among European societies and governments. Migration itself is as old as human history. People have always moved in search of security, work, and freedom. However, what makes the European migration crisis distinct is the sudden and massive scale of movement, combined with the tragic conditions that pushed people to leave their homes. The civil war in Syria was the main trigger, displacing millions since 2011. Other conflicts in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Libya added to the numbers, while poverty, political instability, and human rights abuses in several African nations drove many to take similar routes. People from countries like Eritrea, Sudan, and Nigeria also joined this flow, each carrying their own story of loss and hope. The main routes to Europe were through the Mediterranean Sea and land crossings in southeastern Europe. The Mediterranean route, particularly from Libya to Italy and from Turkey to Greece, became infamous for its dangers. Thousands of desperate people boarded overcrowded boats operated by smugglers who demanded huge sums of money. Many vessels sank before reaching the coast, leading to heartbreaking deaths at sea. Images of lifeless children and broken families shocked the world, revealing the human suffering behind the statistics. International organizations estimate that more than 25,000 migrants have died in the Mediterranean since 2014. The sudden influx of migrants placed immense pressure on frontline countries such as Greece and Italy. Reception centers were overcrowded, resources were limited, and humanitarian workers struggled to provide basic needs like food, water, and shelter. Germany's decision in 2015, under Chancellor Angela Merkel, to open its borders to over 1 million refugees was seen as a bold humanitarian act. It was praised by many as a defense of European values, yet it also caused political tension within Germany and across the continent. Some citizens welcomed refugees warmly, while others feared economic burden, cultural change, and security risks. This deep division spread throughout Europe. Countries such as Hungary, Poland, and the Czech Republic opposed taking in migrants under European Union quota systems, arguing that each nation had the right to control its borders. Meanwhile, nations like Sweden, France, and Germany called for solidarity and shared responsibility. These disagreements exposed fractures within the European Union and challenged the idea of European unity. The Schengen system of open borders faced temporary restrictions as several countries reintroduced controls to manage the flow of people. In 2016, the European Union reached an agreement with Turkey aimed at reducing illegal crossings. Under this deal, migrants who arrived in Greece could be sent back to Turkey, while the European Union promised financial support to Turkey and agreed to accept a limited number of refugees legally. Although the deal reduced the number of sea crossings, it sparked ethical debates about whether Europe was outsourcing its responsibilities to other nations. Critics argued that this approach focused on border control rather than addressing the root causes of migration. the humanitarian situation remained critical. Refugee camps in Greece and Italy were often overcrowded, with limited access to healthcare, education, or employment. Many migrants suffered from trauma after experiencing war, violence, or the dangerous journey itself. Non-governmental organizations, volunteers, and international agencies worked tirelessly to provide aid, but the scale of need was overwhelming. Despite the hardships, countless migrants showed remarkable resilience and determination. Some integrated successfully into European societies, learned new languages, found jobs, and contributed positively to their communities. At the same time, migration reshaped European politics. It fueled debates about identity, religion, and the future of multiculturalism. Populist and nationalist movements grew stronger, using anti-immigration rhetoric to gain support. These movements claimed that migration threatened cultural traditions, security, and employment opportunities. In contrast, human rights activists and many citizens defended the moral duty to protect people fleeing war and persecution. The issue became a defining test of Europe's commitment to compassion and democracy. Over time, the number of new arrivals decreased compared to the 2015 peak, but the crisis never truly ended. Migration routes shifted, and smaller waves continued to reach Europe each year. The European Union has since focused on strengthening border security and improving asylum systems. However, these measures do not solve the deeper problems that drive migration. Poverty, political instability, corruption, and conflict in the migrants' home countries continue to push people to leave. Additionally, climate change is emerging as a new factor, as droughts, floods, and food shortages force communities to migrate in search of survival. The migration crises also revealed important lessons about global inequality. While Europe debated numbers and border policies, millions of people in developing regions continued to live in desperate conditions. Migration exposed the contrast between regions of prosperity and regions of suffering. It reminded the world that humanity is interconnected and that solving such crises requires cooperation beyond national borders. Investing in education, peace-building, and sustainable development in origin countries is essential to reduce the pressure that leads people to migrate. On a human level, migration is a story of struggle and courage. Behind every statistic is a person who left behind family, friends, and home in search of dignity. Some found new beginnings in Europe, while others lost their lives trying. The crisis forced Europeans to reflect on the values that define their societies: solidarity, empathy, and justice. It also highlighted that compassion and security can coexist when policies balance human rights with practical management. Ultimately, the migration crises in Europe were not only about borders or numbers. They were about the meaning of humanity in an increasingly divided world. Europe's response to migration continues to shape its political future, moral identity, and role on the global stage. Whether through fear or through compassion, the choices made today will determine what kind of Europe emerges tomorrow, one that builds walls or one that builds understanding. If you found this explanation helpful and want to learn more about global and social issues, please like this video and subscribe to the channel.